My full name is Jean Widny Pervil, but the English version would be Jean Widny Pervil. So you see why I prefer to go by Widny, because in both languages it's still the same. So I'm very grateful to be here for this wonderful opportunity, preaching has been my life. Imagine that you were given the opportunity to say something for or on behalf of Barack Obama or Minister Harper. You'd be super pumped, super excited. It's the same for me. Whenever I have the opportunity to say something for God, who is the King of Kings, that just blows my mind. I'm just super excited. And I just want to say thank you so much for the leaders and the elders of the church for trusting the Holy Spirit and me. And I believe we're going to have a wonderful time together. As the pastor said, I've been here for 5 years, and I visited a lot of churches. And I think that Elim Chapel kind of the church where I feel very connected. Whenever I go to visit the church, there are 3 things that I'm always looking for. The first would be the love for God. Do the people really love God? I remember when I first came here, and it was kind of in fall, and when we walked there, it was a bit cold. We had no idea about what winter would look like, and then we were praying about how God would lead us to find a church. And then we went to visit 2 churches in the neighborhood. I'm not going to mention the name. And then when I came here, I kind of felt that the Lord was speaking with me, saying, hey, Widny, Elim is your place. I mean, it is very important when you go to a church to see if the people, if they really love God. I mean, are they making sacrifices for the Lord? I remember before we have Pastor Rick, John stood here preaching for almost a year, and that was really touching for me, and that kind of helped me to understand that the people in that church, they love God, they are making sacrifices. That was very much appreciated. And also, it is wonderful to see every morning every Sunday morning, we have a group of people with great dedication. We come here to serve the Lord with the gift that they have. You would always see Ken at the organ. And then we have Kim and other people. They always come here to share the gift that God has for us. And that kind of helped me to understand that, well, those people, they love God. And also the second one would be love among the members. I always check, do the people love each other? Always check that whenever I visit a church. And I remember the first time I walked in that place, Doug and Jane, they were at the back, and then they welcomed us very round. I mean, the way they did it, that was so impressive. We were so glad. We were 5, Jacques, Sami, and Vanessa and Helena. And we were so pleased the way we were welcomed. And the third time we came to this church, after the service was finished, and then Doug bravely walked and then stopped us saying, hey, my wife and I would like to invite you for dinner. We were 5, and we were like, you don't really know us? You are... Yeah, it was like, yeah, my wife and I would like to invite you for dinner. And we were like, okay, it's free food, okay. And after, when we left, we said to each other, this guy is really rich. He's willing to feed the 5 of us. We were just surprised. He's not rich. He's just a good guy. Thank you so much, Lord. That was one of the tests. And also, Elim Chapel is a place where everybody is always welcome. You feel that love for the community. If it's minus 20, no problem. People would go outside to give hot chocolate to others. Plus or 30 degrees, that's okay. People would just go outside, clean the neighborhoods, mow the land. That is so wonderful. And when I saw that, I'm like, yes, those people, they have the love for the community. And this is what church is about. This is what God is about. It's just show the love to the world, to the community. It's the most powerful message. And the third things that I would look for is scripture, the Bible. What is the place of the Bible in the congregation? If I go in a place and then I'm saying that they are doing everything and they are not opening the Bible, you could see that this morning we have 3 readings, 3 lectures. That is just wonderful. And whenever I go to a place, I see they are opening the Bible, I'm like, oh God, that is amazing. Because this is how God speaks to us. And all those 3 things, I find them at the Chapel. And I say, like, God, this is where I'm going to be for the rest of my day in Canada. I don't know if I'm going to stay here in Canada for the rest of my life, but for now, this is where I'm going to be. And I really, really love Elim Chapel. It's a very wonderful community. Before we start, I'd like to take this opportunity to say thank you to a couple of people that have been very grateful to me. First of all, I'd like to say a special thank to Jack and Miriam. I really admire this family. Jack and Miriam. I love them so much. They've been so kind to us. I've never seen that. Like, Jack, he's not here today, right? Oh, sorry, he's not here. He has a gift. No matter who you are, he would find a way to have a conversation with you. Whether or not you speak English. I don't know how it is. When we first came here, they were so kind and so good to us. And also this morning, I was planning to tell some jokes about him because he's the one who taught me how to joke in English. that would be a good way. Unfortunately, okay, so we'll find out. Anyway, I love them so much for the kindness and the love toward us. I think Jacques and Sammy would say the same thing. They were like, a family to us. And secondly, I'd like to take this opportunity to say special thanks to all the people that are taking the time to work here in the international ministry. I remember when I first came here, my English was not that good, but I didn't have a choice because I had to study at university. And we started going to the international ministry. And I think if I'm able to say something in English, standing before you to preach today, it's just because of the work that those wonderful people have done to me. And I think the credit belongs to them. And I believe that it is a powerful ministry working with international students who doesn't understand or speak English. You might think it's just English, but that was huge for me. I believe sometimes we kind of a bit impatient or just result oriented. We want to see results like that. But you know what? The work that we are doing, they are having great impact on people. We just don't see it, but the Holy Spirit is working powerfully. I think James, Roberta, Val, Vader, Elim, that would be James and Laura, of course, Jack and Miriam. All the credit belongs to them, if I'm able to say something here in English, because they were the one who spent time with me, helping me to understand things in the Bible. Of course, in French, that would be easy for me, but in English, it was tough. They were so patient and faithful to the ministry. You are just wonderful people, and I just love you for that. I think now it's time for us to start the message. dare to believe. That is the title of our message for today. I don't think I'm going to spend time reading the passage because we already did it. But I'd like to start with a question. Have you ever been in a situation where you had an opinion that was completely different from what the majority were saying or thinking? Because of fear or opposition, you decided to stay quiet, not to voice your opinion. You don't have to answer. In the heart of the book of Numbers, the Bible tells us a story about two men, Joshua and Caleb, who had decided to go against what the majority was saying when they dared to believe that God is able to accomplish His promise. And also, they were ready to face any challenge or to pay any price because they know that God is faithful. Here's the story that we have in front of us today. As Christians, how do we respond? What is our reaction when we see impactful, powerful example like in the Bible? When people were ready to put their life in danger just to show to other people that God is faithful, is powerful. How do we respond to that? Before everything, let's just take a look at verse 31 second. Then Caleb silenced the people before Moses and said, "We should go up, take possession of the land, for we can certainly do it." That is the key verse here. Before everything, I'd like to take a bit of time to go to this quotation from Benjamin during his time. A lot of people would know him under the name of Ben Stein. He's such a very interesting guy. He's a lawyer, and he was a speechwriter for President Nixon and the Ford family. He had a very interesting debate and engaging debate with Richard Dawkins. Once, he said, faith is not believing that God can. It is knowing that He will. Please, remember that, the second part. Faith is not only believing that God can, it's knowing that He will. Notions such as belief, God, Bible are becoming more and more taboo or even irrelevant for many people nowadays. People willing to hear any kind of story. People are willing to talk about anything but God. People are willing to put their life in danger for anything. But when it comes to the things that has to do with God, society is moving away from that nowadays. As Christians, what do? Do we just sit down and then watch the majority? Or do we just follow the majority? A world where everything is moving so fast at the speed of a rocket. Transportation is no longer a challenge. We don't need years, we don't need months, we don't need weeks to travel all over the world. We can just visit Europe, Africa, America in just 3 days. Communication is so easy. If you don't want to Facebook me, please, Snapchat. No, I'll go WhatsApp. Let's type. No, Why not Bible? It's like nowadays we have everything in this little box. Do you want the money? Yes. What is your email address? E-transfer, 2 seconds. All right, it's just happened. Do you want to see it? Okay, there it is. Everything is moving so fast. It seems that we got it all figured out. For many people, if science and technology say that's it, that's it. And this is the danger that you and I, as Christians, need to avoid. And this is the danger that we need to be mindful about. It's not over until God says so. That was the same things that Joshua and Caleb dared to do. When the majority were saying, you know what, that's it, it's over. There is no hope. But they stood up alone, saying, no, it is not. Because God is the one who has the last word. Don't give me one. I'm a big fan of science and technology. And then we would be foolish not to use them. Science and technology, they are just gifts from God to the human race. Bear in mind, a gift can never be greater than the giver. If God is the giver, that means God is greater than science and technology. They are good, they are powerful. We can do amazing things with them. But we need to be mindful about what they can do to our spiritual life. Now, let's move on to take a close look at this story. Here's what happened. In Genesis chapter 15, God called Abraham. And then he said, you know what? Follow me. And I'll open a lot of ways for you. Just follow me. Abraham said, God, I am ready to follow you. God said, you know what? One day, I am going to give you a very good land. You and your family, you're going to possess a very good land. Since then, the people of Israel, they were very excited about that promise. And in Exodus chapter 3, God kind of give a description of that land. The expression that we're using to describe this land was a land that flows milk and honey. I like milk and I like honey. When you combine those two together, it's just loveliness. It's just loveliness. That was the promise. God told him, I am going to give you a land where that flows milk and honey. And all the generation that was like before or after Moses, that was the dream. They were excited. They were pumped about that. They couldn't wait to see that land. And here we are at Kadesh. God called Moses and said, hey, please, I want you to send 12 men to go investigate on that land. That was the goal. The goal was to conquer Canaan, the promised land. Moses said, okay, now it's time for action. He called them. They went out to investigate the land. Next slide, please. And then, when they got there, they had a mixed feeling. 12 men went out to investigate the land. 10 of them saw chaos, problems, despair, giants. And Joshua and Caleb stood up. They saw opportunities. They saw promise. And those 10 men who were so pessimistic tried to discourage the people of Israel by telling them there is no way that we'll be able to get this land. Forget about it. There is no way that we'll be able to conquer that land. And they even brought proof. They brought a cluster of grape. And they described the land as a land that flows milk and honey. But they were so fearful, they discouraged the crowd by telling them, we are not crazy. Are you insane? We have a lot of giants there. Oh, you want us to go there to find those giants? That's going to be suicide. Forget about it. We are staying here. That's all right. We don't have any problem. We are staying here. And Joshua and Caleb stood up. No, God said that one day this land is going to be ours. We should certainly go there and take possession of the land. They were so optimistic because they had faith in the Lord. They were so optimistic because they know that God is greater than what they saw. Because of that, what's going to happen? Outcomes. We have reward and consequence. And God said to the people of Israel, you know what? The 10 of you, that's all right. I'm not mad. That's okay. You think I cannot give you the land? That's all right. You're not going to see it, and you're not going to have possession of it. Joshua and Caleb, because of your faith, you're going to see the land, and you're going to have possession of it. Reward and consequences. Now, let's take a close look and see if we can understand what happened before. Let's see who those 12 men were. Let's take a close look at them. First of all, they were ordinary men like us, right? I mean, it's normal for human being to experience fear. It's normal. It's okay. So, the reaction is a normal reaction. We understand that. We're not trying to blame them. And they were also leaders. They were not like just people, they just by say, hey, go investigate the land. They were leaders. And also they were believers. I mean, they know that God is a powerful God. They know that. And also they were fathers. They were fathers. That explains everything. That would be foolish for them to just say, okay, that's good. Let's go and get the land. They were thinking about their family. I'm not going to get my daughter or my son slaughtered. It's not going to happen. That would be irresponsible for me. They were thinking critically. They were like, we cannot do that because we're not well trained. We don't have a powerful army. We don't have jets. I love my family so much. So why would I tell the other people, let's go and do that? No, we are staying here. So we understand that. And there is one thing that is really important that we need to notice. Joshua and Caleb were among these 12 guys. They were ordinary men like us. They were leaders, they were believers, they were fighters. But they stood alone against the crowd, against the other 10 men. What I like about this story is, even though we're strong in the faith, they didn't blame the other 10. Sometimes we all stumble in our faith. We're not super Christian. We're not better than anybody. But one thing we know for sure, that we can count on God's promises. We're not strong. We're not better than anybody. But we are not going with the crowd. We are going with God. That was the bottom line for them. And they stood alone there, saying that, yes, God can. And also, it is very important for us to understand what created the entire issue. First of all, we saw there was a lot of doubt among those 10 spies. Fear. They saw the giants. That is understandable. Sometimes we have big plans. And sometimes we really want to accomplish them. But for some reason, there are a lot of challenges, obstacles, and we just can't. They went there for a good purpose, but unfortunately, doubt and fear and giants kind of spoiled the party. And here they are now, complaining about God. Forget that is a powerful God. And also, there is one thing that we need to understand. The quality of the land. They were amazed. They were amazed because the land was so good. And the Bible tells us that on that land, to carry a cluster of grapes, you would need 2 men. 2 men. Back in those days, when we're talking about men, we're talking about warriors. We're talking about fighters, muscles, more like me. I mean, can you imagine that? You need to have 2 men to carry a cluster of grapes. That lady is super rich. They were so amazed. They couldn't believe that. They were like, wow, seriously? Homeless people like us? We're not going to get this beautiful land. That is too good for us. And they confirmed that. They were proof. But somehow, they were too amazed. Dear brothers and sisters, let me tell you something. We're not serving God for anything. We are serving the Lord because we love Him, because of His grace and His mercy. We're not serving the Lord because we need to have beautiful houses or anything. But let me tell you something. If God is giving you a big house, just take it and be grateful. If God wants to give you this Maserati, this Land Rover, just take it and be grateful. We're not too little, we're not too small. Our God is powerful God, and He loves us. A father would like to give the most expensive, the most beautiful gift to his kids. It's the same for God. God wants us to be happy. He has good plan for us. But somehow, the people of Israel, they were too amazed. Oh, that plan is just too beautiful for us. We're not going to get that. Do not be amazed when God is blessing you. Let Him do His job. Take it and be grateful. Don't you ever think that you're too small for this position? No. Nobody in my family ever do that. No. Do not be that pessimistic. Let God do His work. And one thing that trigger all this problem, all this fear, is the giants. Now, how do we overcome giants as Christians? Is there a solution? They were fearful because they saw giants. That was the problem. The only way that you and I can overcome giants is by faith, and by faith alone. God has a way dealing with giants. In 1 Samuel chapter 17, we learn the story of a young man named David. He was not a warrior. He was not a fighter. He was just a little boy taking care of the sheep. And then, when the people of the Philistines challenged the people of Israel, asking them to send the warrior, the fighter, the entire country run away, because nobody dared to face this giant named Goliath. And when David heard that, he was so mad. He couldn't believe it. He was like, why? Why are we letting this guy saying all those bad things about our God? Why? After a lot of defamation, David stood up saying, you know what? I am going to face this giant. I am going to face this giant. And I will overcome him by faith. In order to defend a champion, in order to be a champion, you need to be a champion. David was not a fighter. He was not a warrior. But he had faith. And then he dared to say, you know what? I want to fight this giant. Goliath was so strong and powerful. When he was talking, people were just shaking. And they wouldn't dare to look at him. The Bible said that it was about 6 cubits. when we try to convert that into feet, that would be approximately 9 feet and 7 inches. He was a super giant. Not only a giant, he was a super giant. And he knew how to fight. David said, I have faith in the Lord, and I am going to fight this giant. One thing is to know about faith. The first thing that we need to know about faith is like faith does not take into consideration the laws of the natural world. Proof, reasoning, evidence, they belong to the natural world. God can go beyond that. I remember in 2010, when I was back home in Haiti, a very bad earthquake happening and destroyed almost the entire country. And my entire faculty just gone in one night. And after that, I told my family and my friends, you know what? I don't think they will have time to rebuild the State University of Haiti, and I don't want to lose the year. I am going to study overseas. They're like, are you okay? I'm like, yes. I am going to study overseas. I went to the internet and then looked for a couple of universities, and I saw a university in the United States that I wanted to go. That was Calvary Bible College in Atlanta, Georgia. I filled out the application form, and then I sent it to them. They told me, you know what? We need to have proof, financial proof. They asked me to send $2,000. Okay. I sent the money, and they told me, no, it's not enough. $2,000 is not enough. And I talked to my family and my friends. They say like, yeah, we told you. We told you. Nowadays, they don't give visa to people. You wouldn't listen. But I knew for a fact that God is a powerful God. He can do amazing things. He could move mountains. With God, mountains become plain. And guess what? 2 weeks after, I received a phone call from the State University of Haiti. They told me, you know what? Pack your luggage. You're coming to Canada, and we are paying everything for you. That is just amazing. I trusted the Lord. I didn't have enough money, but I was sure that He would make a way. They asked me for $2,000. It was not enough. And God said, hey, I am going to give you what you're looking for free. You won't have to pay anything. Faith does not take into consideration the laws of the natural world. And also, we need to understand that faith does not go with what the majority says or thinks. All the people of Israel, they were saying, hey, it's over for us. Goliath is going to finish us. We won't be able to defeat that guy. But David wouldn't listen. He said, you know what? I am going to fight this guy and kill him in the name of the Lord. And he did. And also we need to understand that faith does not count on human strength or intelligence. Yeah, it's good to think critically. It's good to plan things. It's good to talk about proof, logic, reasoning. But let me tell you something. God is above of all these things. God is greater than that. When the doctor is telling you that you're not going to make it, when the financial institution is telling you there is no, the mortgage is too much for you, just trust in the Lord. Say, God, it's true. This is what the doctor is telling me. It's true. This is what the financial institution is telling me. But I'm going to trust in you. Because I know that you are greater than everything. Now, it is very important for us to just take a quick look at that. I mean, when David wanted to go fight with Goliath, on his way, he picked up 5 little stones. 5 little stones. In theology, we have this branch or this area that's called numerology. You can see this is the word I'm trying to say. It's just the study of the spiritual values of the numbers in the Bible. 5 little stones. That could be like seen in a broader sense, but today we're just going to stick with that. 5 is the number of grace in the Bible. You remember the pool of Bethesda? I think 3 weeks ago the pastor preached about that. Bethesda in Hebrew means the house of mercy or just grace. On that pool, there were about 5 columns or 5 corners. And whenever the angel came, the first person who would jump in the pool would get healed. No matter what the sickness. They just get healed for free. That was just pure grace. And also, remember Jesus on the cross. 2 hands, 2 feet. And then on the side of the chest, 5 wounds. Not because of anything that we didn't deserve it. But God is a merciful and loving Father. He said, you know what? I am going to give them Jesus for free. Because I love them. This is my grace. I am going to nail him on the cross. And there will be 5 wounds for them. Now, I'm just playing with the English language now. When you are having problem, when giants are killing you, when fear is trying to take your joy away, when you're not sure about what to do, like David, just take this 5 little stones. Just look to Jesus. And he's going to help you to carry the burden. Because Jesus is the source of grace. Whenever life is trying to tax you, look to Jesus, and he's going to help you. Now, 12 men went out to investigate the land. 10 of them saw chaos, giants, problem. They fell. Unfortunately, they didn't get possession in the land, and they didn't see it. 2 men, Caleb and Joshua, they dared to believe in God's promise. Surely, they did get possession in the land. And they saw it. Now, Proverbs chapter 3, verse 5 and 6 Say, trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways, acknowledge Him, and He shall direct your path. 10 of them trusted in their own understanding, in the proof, in what they saw. They fell. But 2, Joshua and Caleb, what they did, they trust in the Lord with all their heart. And they saw the land. What a powerful example. Joshua and Caleb. Dear brothers and sisters, I would invite you to follow the example of Joshua and Caleb. To dare to believe in God when things seems to be upside down. When there is no way, and God will help you. Would you please read this verse with me? Let's go. 1, 2, 3. Trust in the Lord, and not in your own understanding. In all your ways, acknowledge Him, and He shall direct your path. May God bless you.